Wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on this webinar with Rolls-Royce. My name is Fern and I am part of the Student Success team at Target Jobs. I'm really excited to be joined by some Rolls-Royce representatives today, as well as some graduates who are going to be sharing their experience and a bit more about their background and how they got to where they are now. Just a few housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, then please pop them into the Q&A tab and one of our Rolls-Royce reps will be answering the questions kind of as we go, but also at the end as well. But for now, I'm going to pass over to Stella, who's going to kick things off.
Thank you very much, Fern. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. So thank you very much for coming today. So hopefully you'll find this really informative. We've got a webinar and it's all about lifting the lid on a graduate life. So we really want to bring to life what it is about being a graduate and intern if you came along to Rolls-Royce. So Beth, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're sat in the same room, so that was slightly silly of us. But it's really nice to meet you all. My name's Beth, and I work with Stella in the early careers department, and get to go to loads of universities and meet people and tell them about what it would be like to work at Rolls-Royce. So if you get in touch with early careers, it might be me or Stella that you hear from. But yeah, really excited to have you all here today, and nice to meet you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Beth. And let's go to the panel. So Marvin, would you like to introduce yourself? And let's kick things off. So a fun fact about you that probably we wouldn't know about you.
Yep, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Marvin, and I'm currently a year-long intern at Rolls-Royce, working in engineering, technology, and safety. And a fun fact about myself is that I've been to Australia twice.
Oh, that's a very fun fact, that is. I love Australia. Great. Thank you very much, Marvin. Ellie, over to you, please.
Sure. So hi, everyone. I'm Ellie. I've just finished 2 years on the Business and Enterprise grad scheme. And I would say a fun fact about myself is I've ice skated since I was about 12.
Oh, great. Wow. Okay. And Sarah, hello.
Hi. Hi, my name is Sarah Imani, currently on the second year undergraduate business and enterprise program in Group IT. I joined Rolls-Royce last year in October, so it's been a year.
Great. Thank you very much, Sarah. And Emily.
Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Armstrong. I'm an engineering and technology graduate, and I've been on the scheme for about a year now. And the fun fact for me would be I could speak 3 languages, English, French, and Thai.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Well, let's just concentrate on the English today, but that's fantastic that you got those 3 languages. So thank you very much, Bonnie. So as you can see, we've got a real wide variety of people to be able to come and talk to you today about our different programs with either in graduate or internships. So we're going to start off with, so Emily, so you're actually on our engineering and technology graduate scheme. So can we have a little bit more information about what it is you do? Thank you.
Yeah, go on. So yeah, on the engineering technology grad scheme, and I kind of see it as it's split into, let's start with a little bit of background on me before I even started the grad scheme. So at A levels, I did maths, physics, chemistry, and French, which kind of got me thinking around, I really like learning why things are the way they are, which led me to studying theoretical physics at Royal Holloway, University of London, and spent my time outside of studying doing summer internships. So my first one was as a scientific development exec at a startup company, kind of working on the communications between like people in the technical field, reaching out to like the non-technical supporting functions and getting that message correct. In my 3rd year, I went for the Female Undergraduate of the Year award and came into the top 10, which then awarded me a summer internship at Rolls-Royce. So I spent 12 weeks doing, being an innovation engineer in their defence aerospace sector. So looking at one of their problems of inspection and how we can add like an element of automation. So from all this, I'd realised I was really interested in like that technical communications aspect and complex problem solving. and not only understanding how things worked, which is very fundamental to engineering, but also why things worked as well. So yeah, next slide, please. So then I was following off the back of my summer internship. I was then offered a place on the engineering and technology grad scheme. So it's 18 to 24 month program. And as I said at the start, I'm halfway through my scheme. So for me, I see it as two aspects, and they follow a T model, a T skills model. So you first start building your breadth across the business, and then once you find your area that you're interested in, you start building your technical depth. So I can't go into too much detail because my projects are kind of security sensitive. But my first 3 gigs were in design, in service and manufacturing. So going across, they like using the CAD mid-cycle. So from the start of how do we design what we're building and what we work on, all the way through to once it's in service and with the customer, how do we deal with those challenges there? So from those placements, I found that I really enjoyed that technical interface between the business and the customer. So now moving into the second half of my grad scheme, I'm looking at where those technical interfaces are and how I can develop those skills and that technical knowledge to help me go into my first substantive role at the end of the scheme. Yeah, and then next slide, please. So day in the life kind of depends on which placement I'm in. So at the start of each placement, you get given objectives, so typically 3 to 4, which help you in your development, but also understand where that team fits within the company. So I split my day in half. So the first half is typically more work related. So either giving updates or having meetings across the business to progress the projects that I'm working on. And they'll be in line with my placement objectives. During lunchtime, so it's generally half an hour with other graduates around the business, and then there are also lunch and learns throughout the whole of Rolls-Royce, so you can get a bit of an insight into areas that you don't normally get to see, so even outside of a technical function. And then towards the afternoons, where I do more of the engineering work, if you will, so like actually what am I doing to solve and progress these projects and problems that I'm given while I'm in these placements, and one-to-ones around the business to understand not only what's going on across the business, but how other people have found their way around. And then just set up for the next day and just rinse and repeat.
That's great, Emily. Thank you so much for that. So it's really interesting that you actually came on from our Undergraduate of the Year award.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
How
have you found
really
it actually, like coming from a summer internship and then coming on to the graduate program?
So I've really enjoyed it. So during the summer internship, there's a lot of just finding your feet and understanding what's going on. And I think even if you go into, say, aerospace or say power systems, one of the big branches, there are still interfaces with those other areas. So I've really enjoyed exploring them, but now even more so as a graduate, because you can do placements and do pieces of work to support those functions and really get an idea of not what they do, but how they do it, which is really invaluable moving forwards.
Absolutely. I mean, that sounds incredible, what you've already managed to be able to do just in the short time that you've been at Rolls-Royce. So thank you so much for sharing that insight. So next we're going to go to Ellie. So Ellie, can you tell us a little bit about your program and also about what you do day to day?
Yeah, of course. So I guess for me, I'm sort of sitting at the other end of the table where, I'm coming to the end of finishing now, and I can sort of reflect back on that whole journey. And you'll see on the top of the screen, I sort of talk about my journey from a long time ago. So sort of from 2013, where I actually was in high school still. So I was at Thomas Lane, so that's my local high school. And then alongside that, I worked in a cinema and bowling alley. And then I worked at Waitrose alongside doing my A-levels. And you can see I got 3 C's there, it's pretty average. I didn't do the best, I didn't do the worst, but nonetheless, I was still happy. I started at the University of Derby, and that was doing graphic design. And I just realised that Derby wasn't the uni for me. It was quite local to me. I felt like I needed to move away and sort of get that bit of experience being away from home. So I actually ended up leaving and starting again, and I moved to Sheffield Hallam. And I think I was at university during COVID, and I think I worked at Sainsbury's during that time as a picker. So obviously a lot of people were having the online orders. And I think the combination of university and working 6 days a week alongside it, it sort of took the fun away from what used to be fun for me. So I decided that I fancied a bit of a change. So that led me on to joining the business and enterprise grad scheme. And I guess there's a bit of a lesson in there for people, because I wish I'd have known somebody in the same position as me, where it wasn't the be all and end all for me, that I changed my mind and I wanted to do something different. And it didn't put me behind anybody else. You know, when I started with people that had done maths at university, French and Spanish. There was hardly anybody that had directly done business. So I want people to know that don't think that you're going to be a step behind. If anything, you're more open-minded sometimes and you can give more things a go. So yeah, just a little bit of a lesson in there for people. I think that it will all figure itself out and you'll end up where you need to be. So in a similar way to engineering, we do gigs. So these you'd probably know better as placements. Ours are 6 months rather than 3 months typically. So we're put into our first one. So my first one was called People Services, which is HR. So think more like operational kind of HR. And I was sat with the director of People Services. So I was really lucky. I got to sort of see all over the different business areas. And I went to sort of board meetings and things like that, which, as you can imagine, once again, somebody that doesn't have a background in business and doesn't understand a lot of the things that were being talked about, it was quite overwhelming at first. But thankfully, I was really well supported, and I sort of came out of the end of that knowing that HR was the area that I wanted to pursue. So I ended up really lucky. And that sort of led on to my second placement, which is UK compliance and resolution. So that was sort of the not so joyous side of HR. So that was going out to different business areas and leading on sort of disciplinaries and grievances. But it meant I was able to see a lot of the business and meet a lot of people that I would have never got to meet, and sort of connect with that engineering side. Every time I went to a different site, I'd sort of ask for a tour and say, oh, I've never been here before. Can I come and have a look around? So it was really great for that side of things as well, and being able to see a bit more that I wouldn't have ever got to see. And then gig 3, I moved on to procurement, but this was sort of the back process of procurement. So for people that don't know what procurement is, it's basically buying things for the company. So indirect is anything like the chairs you sit on, the bills, and then direct procurement is anything that goes onto an engine, basically. So I sat in the back processes of indirect procurement and did sort of some sustainability work and some learning work, how we can train people up and things like that, which sort of once again fed into what I found my interests were within the HR area. And I do love the early career aspect of things. So it was really nice to get that touch on the learning side of things. And alongside this, I did almost a bit of an engineering gig. So I really pushed myself with this one. It was to create a training plan for one of the facilities at Rolls-Royce called Nest, which is the new engine support team. Difficult, but I was really happy. You know, I sort of achieved it in the end with a lot of help from the people around me. And then moving into my final gigs, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do because there was still so much that I wanted to try and do. So I actually ended up splitting it into 2 3-month ones. So I did internal audit, where I did a lot of work on a financial audit, which was speaking to entities all around the world. So New Zealand, Italy, India, loads of different places, and testing their bank account controls, which was really interesting because these entities, some of them only consist of about 8 to 10 people, and some people don't, you know, they haven't even heard of these places. So to get to speak to them was amazing. And then I worked in a data team, the ServiceNow team, which is a product team. And that's where you sort of raise tickets. I'm sure you've heard of having to raise a ticket if you have a problem. They sort of go through that platform. There's a few little side gigs that I've done on there. So relationship management and, like I say, a bit of work in the early career space. And what I actually haven't put on here is that I am moving into my substantive role soon. So yeah, so just waiting for things to go through with that. But all being well, fingers crossed, I'll be moving into strategic HR, and that's in the defence sector. So just waiting for that to go through. But hopefully that's a bit of an insight into the business and enterprise side of things. We were the first year that they'd actually done this grad scheme. So we've sort of helped shape the way that it's going to look for the future intakes coming in, and, you know, hopefully been able to give a really helpful insight into what that was like for us. So yeah, if any questions, pop them in the Q&A box and I'm happy to help. Not sure if applications are open for this one yet. I think if they're not open now, they're open soon.
Yeah, so for the business enterprise, it's on hold at the moment,
Yeah.
just because we are looking at what our future skill sets are going to be, and about looking at, we're going through that redesign. And so we're hoping that there's going to be a business and enterprise program as such in around early 2025 to be applying for. But at the moment, we haven't got a date.
Yeah.
However, if people keep track on the website, we'll do an update on there when it's actually going to be coming live. So
yeah, and I guess just one final thing to wrap up as well. Obviously the internships are amazing, and it's probably one of the best ways to get in. I didn't do an internship, there is a few of us that didn't,
still,
there's still, don't think that the door is closed if that's what you're trying to go for. There's still definitely chances to be within the company and sort of get to where we are now. So don't stress about it. Just, keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be fine. You'll get to where you need to be.
Well, that's a really good bit of advice, that is, Ellie. And also, it's really great to see that you are actually coming, to the end of your graduate program. So you've seen that whole journey go through. What kind of support do you receive when you're on your graduate program?
Yeah, sure. So we rotate managers when we rotate gigs. A lot of the managers that you will go to have typically supported a grad before, whether it's on this scheme or previous schemes. So they're usually quite well equipped to sort of helping with our needs and things like that. And then you have a career coach, which is assigned to you before you start. And your career coach will stay with you throughout the whole 2 years. So they're just a bit of a person that's away from day-to-day activities that you can sort of go and speak to if you need a bit of impartial advice or anything like that. And then another great thing is mentors. So I have actually got previous managers that I have asked to continue mentoring me throughout my career when I actually move on. So whilst you've got sort of your rigid support network around you, you will naturally build quite a big support network around you, because people that you've worked with, they all want to see you do well. So they're always going to be happy to support you throughout your time. So yeah, plenty of support. Always feel like you've got somebody that you can go and speak to.
Brilliant. And I can see that you've done that variety of gigs, and it was really interesting to hear that you did one in engineering. That must have really pushed yourself. But I mean, that's what we want to be seeing really on the graduate program as well, isn't it? Is about that really stretching yourself to be really developing, to build that real breadth across different areas.
Yeah, for sure as well. And whilst, within that, I did have to learn about the structure of an engine, and that was quite difficult to get to grips with. Like I say, that exposure to different places in the business that you probably wouldn't get to work with otherwise is always great. So yeah, 100% recommend pushing yourself, because like I say, I sort of knew HR was my area of focus, but you can tell by the gigs that I've moved through, I've not just drilled into that. I've still tried to keep it quite open. And then for me, I've ended up coming back to that. But a lot of people, they'll go into the fourth gig with an idea of what they want to do and end up doing the complete opposite. So you've just got to make sure you keep an open mind and, don't be too tunnel vision with what you want to do.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for that insight, Ellie.
No problem.
And so now we've got Sarah, who's going to be sharing her insight into her graduate programme. Hi, Sarah. Sorry, Sarah, you're on mute.
I'm actually on mute.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hi, I'm Sarah Yumani. I think I already introduced myself. So currently undergraduate program on my second year. But I'll do a little bit of a background on myself. So my academic history, a sixth form, I studied accounting, French, sociology, and law in Hull, because I'm from Hull, and wanted to do something like of a combination of all the four A-levels I'd done at sixth form at a university. So it was either doing accounting with French or law with French. But then came across the international business degree, dual degree at Trent University, and then ended up going to Trent University. And they partnered with a private business school in the south of France, in Marseille. So I also had the opportunity to study abroad and work in Marseille, France for 2 years.
Wow.
In the sun, close to the beach.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
Yeah, it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. And after completing my degree, which was like during COVID, so that didn't help at all because the market was pretty competitive. But I did manage with getting myself a part-time job at Trent University, and then went on working for Trent University for a year. and then did part-time work at Nottingham City Council, this adult safeguarding board, supporting the chair with minute taking. And then finally, I joined Rolls-Royce on the Graduate Business Enterprise program. So I was placed in, allocated within Group IT, and I do not have any technical or background knowledge of IT at all, if you ask me. But I do work within Group IT. So you can really tell that a lot of the things I've learned theoretically at university, I still do implement on my day-to-day job. My first placements, because you get about 4-6 month placement to complete within 24 months. So I've done three, actually, I'm on my third one so far. I've just joined the tax team. My first two placements were within Group IT in cybersecurity. And my second one was in risk compliance management. So within the cybersecurity team, so my responsibility was basically was to build a robust phishing program within Rolls-Royce, and creating and implementing like the different processes for our repeat clickers, report clickers, and making sure we're benchmarking just, below the actual benchmark, and making sure everything within Rolls-Royce, we are cyber secure, and developing a training initiative alongside, working alongside with our external contractors as well, and providing training for obviously colleagues who may not be knowledgeable around obviously keeping safe online. So I was kind of obviously supporting with that. I then did on my second placement, a placement still within cybersecurity, but concentrating more into the risk aspects of things and managing things. On my first week joining the compliance team, my gig manager got me to present a presentation to the cybersecurity director. I was literally shaking, but I did manage to do it. So my role within that project, because it's actually project based, was to map out the IT policies and standards, and then aligning them with the external standards. We have many divisions within Rolls-Royce. For example, we have the power system Rolls-Royce in Germany, and making sure that they do align. It's like an umbrella, basically encompassing all the divisions into one set of policies and standards. And that's been like liaising with different teams in Germany, and obviously implementing that cultural awareness, business awareness, and really building a lot of skills. That really did help me. It really did put me outside of my comfort zone. So I really did get to also, see the insights into the different projects, and obviously grow my skills within that area. I did also lead the IT delivery processes, which looked at obviously examining the effectiveness of the group IT processes. So this involves developing quality and assurance checks over the IT delivery process to ensure that they're effective and meet the company and external standard. This has been a little bit daunting as well, because it involved questioning, examining colleagues, and obviously questioning them on how they practically put into practice the different processes that we do have in place, if they've been obviously exercising good practice within the company. So this project really did help me to gain a much larger insights, because it does interconnect with other divisions within Rolls-Royce. So that involved also talking with colleagues and managers in different business areas. So you do get a lot of insights in these different business areas. You're not just stuck doing one thing. And that's one of the things I love about the graduate program, because you get to rotate in different areas. So you're still exposed to a lot of things. So my gig manager as well, he's been so amazing. He supported me in a lot of stuff. And so I gained lots of insights. I had lots of fun. So I've just joined the finance team, which is my third placement out of the 4. I still got one more to complete the graduate program. So with the tax team, which sits within the finance group, it's placements that I'm currently completing outside of my business area, because I'm in group IT. So I'm now in the finance group, which looks at the different business divisions. So I support the tax team within group financial control in finance to achieve our 2024 priorities. So that is leading and developing different deployments of new processes, and obviously share pricing, working with colleagues in different divisions, again, geographically in Germany, and India and so on. So it's been quite insightful. I'm only on my second week, so it's been quite a lot so far. Apart from obviously my work, I'm also involved in lots and lots of professional network groups. As you can see, I speak French, so I lead the French language cafe here at Rolls-Royce, the beginner session. So I lead them every Wednesday. So I teach French to all of the Rolls-Royce colleagues. It's really fun. I do actually enjoy it. And I'm also part of the early career panel. I sit within the committee as the enabling functions lead. So I do a lot of work of like supporting around like helping new people on their earlier careers at Rolls-Royce obviously settle down and find their feet within Rolls-Royce, connecting them with different people within Rolls-Royce. For example, we hold speakers forum, and which really helps us to really gain insights in this different divisions within Rolls-Royce. And we also do support with different events at Rolls-Royce, for example, the STEM, which is Women in STEM, which I'm also kind of involved in. I'm also part of the Rolls-Royce Christian Network because I'm a Christian myself. We also have the multi-faith, which is kind of inclusive network in terms of faith. And I do remember this year, actually, during Ramadan, a lot of people got involved, obviously, with fasting, which was really great. So there's that inclusivity and diversity within Rolls-Royce, which I absolutely love. And the African Caribbean Professional Network Group, which I'm also part of as a member. So I support with the events when on needed. Yeah, so that's just me in a nutshell. And we also do have socials. So I'm kind of a social bird, so I do like going out. My career coach, who obviously supports us in our career and development, she organizes socials, so we do go out quite a lot. I do have good connections with overgraduates in the graduate program because it's not only the business and enterprise, we also have engineering and technology and so on. So it's quite vast. So you do barely see each other every day because obviously you're busy doing work, but outside of, you also get to see each other outside of the social context. So you go out for drinks, you go out to different lots of stuff really. And which is the fun parts, obviously being part of Rolls-Royce is really building that network, not just professionally, but also in the social context, which I really, really enjoyed.
Brilliant, Sarah. I mean, it sounds like you're having an amazing time. And
Yeah.
you can clearly see that, you've got that passion and that motivation there, but
Yeah.
also that you're getting involved in all the networking opportunities as well, and all the support that we've got around with the networks as well, isn't it? So thank you so much, Sarah. And it's quite good to see. So, I mean, that to have that a completely different, so you're on the same scheme as Ellie, so the same program as Ellie, but you've clearly gone in a different direction with your gigs. And I think that's really the beauty of our graduate programs, isn't it? It's very much led by you about what it is that you're interested in, what you want to find out about, what you want to develop. So it's great to see that you've really took that on and decided which kind of areas you want to go into, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarah. So now we've got Marvin. So Marvin is actually a year-long intern with us on the Engineering and Technology programme. Over to you, Marvin.
Hello, everyone. So I'm currently a year-long intern within Engineering Technology, and I've actually just started my journey at Rolls-Royce. I've been here for about 3.5 months now, and the department that I'm currently in is Technical and Safety Assurance. So I'll just give a brief overview of what that is. So we mainly focus on ensuring that our products are safe and they have high engineering quality. And obviously we have a proactive and reactive approach to engineering. So we obviously ensure that all our products are safe for customers, and we have a reactive approach by ensuring if anything happens, we investigate it and prevent it from happening again. So some of the departments we have, for example, are engineering quality standards. There's also safety assurance and air safety investigation as well. So I'm just going to briefly talk about my background and my journey. So I did A-levels in maths, physics, and further maths in Hertfordshire. And from there, I went into university to study I'm currently still at university. I just finished my third year, and I'm now obviously doing the internship. But I'm studying aerospace engineering with an industrial placement year, and now obviously I'm at my journey at Rolls-Royce. And so I think what I wanted to mention a bit as well is just to give some advice, because I've only begun my journey, but I've done a lot of things at university, and obviously getting to Rolls-Royce is has been a great journey. Trying to get there. So something that I tried to do as much as possible at university was try to get involved in projects and engineering projects. So something that I used to do at university was something called Formula Student, which helped me a lot to improve my engineering technical skills, and also to just put things in a more real world perspective before coming to my placement. And also something else that I also did was a personal project. So you don't always have to wait for someone to give you a project. You can always create your own one, or maybe do some kind of design or some kind of analysis. So just having that out of the box thinking, and that desire to solve problems is definitely something that has helped me throughout my journey from school all the way to now being an intern at Rolls-Royce. So I will also go over my experience. So as mentioned, I've been here for about three and a half months now. So my main focus is on engineering quality and continuous improvement. So what we focus on is trying to, because we obviously with Rolls-Royce being a global leader in aerospace, it's essential for us to have a continuously improving mindset. So it's a great privilege to be able to contribute to that. And something that I'm currently working on is improving how engineers manage their knowledge, information, and data. So you can imagine, as an engineer, or when you're doing any task, it's essential to have all your knowledge, all your information, and all your data in the necessary place, because you don't want to be struggling to find it, and or if you've stored it, you don't want to be storing it in the wrong place, or there's also issues with export control and so on. So that's something that we're working on trying to improve, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to have a role in that as well. Another of my tasks is to work with engineering fellows to create a development program for specialist engineers. So the engineering fellows are engineers who are highly specialized in a specific topic. For example, that could be materials or manufacturing. So I'm working with them to create a development program for specialist engineers in all over the organization, and we're trying to create a 6-month program to essentially develop their careers and to ensure that they can have a positive impact on their company through their specialisms. So those are the main two things that I've mainly been working on these past 3 months. But I've done a lot of other exciting things as well. So as mentioned, my department is technical and safety assurance. So within that, we also have air safety investigation, and they're based in Bristol. So I got the opportunity to go to Bristol for 2 days, and I actually spent a night in a hotel, which was nice. It was like a business trip. So it wasn't something that I expected to do during my internship, but that was a really good experience. And yeah, so we just got to learn about how the air safety investigation department, and how the reactive approach Rolls-Royce uses to ensure if anything goes wrong, we learn from it and prevent it from happening. What I also did while I was at Bristol was I did a course on the GEM engine, which is a helicopter turboshaft engine, and that was something I did for the whole day. It was extremely insightful because I was able to learn about the separate modules. So whether that's like the low pressure compressor or the low pressure turbine, and just learning about all the different oil systems and the fuel systems, and even the auxiliary gearbox as well. So that was really insightful because I was also able to actually touch the parts, and there was a point where we did a group activity to try and assemble some of the modules together. Obviously, we couldn't assemble the whole thing in just an hour, but yeah, just some of the modules we tried to assemble together. So yeah, that was a very great. My time in Bristol was really good. I really enjoyed that, and I just did not expect to experience that during my internship to actually go on essentially go on a business trip. I never thought that would be possible, and it just goes to show you just the things you can do with your opportunity at Rolls-Royce. I would also say from so far, I've just been able to develop a lot of my soft skills because obviously I have to organize and attend various meetings, and it's been really key for me to improve my. It's helped me to improve my communication skills, my organization, which is something that I didn't really have as much at university. For example, when I would join Microsoft Teams calls, I would always be on mute, camera off, and I would try to speak as little as possible. But even just after a month or two at this internship, that's completely changed. And I've just been able to develop my skills a lot more. I think something that I've also really liked is the support that I've received has been phenomenal. I have spoken to people in Germany, in the US, and they're still able to offer me as much support as someone in the office in Derby, which has been really fascinating, and I've really appreciated. Something else that's been very exciting and amazing, because as someone who has always been enthusiastic about aerospace, even when I was at secondary school, just going on the various tours has been really exciting. So on the top right, the picture there is of test bed 80, which is actually the biggest test bed, engine test bed in the world. Unfortunately, there wasn't an engine when I visited it, so I'm sure the picture would have been a lot more exciting. But it was still a great experience just to be there and to learn about the test and experimental process. Something else that I also did was go on engine overhaul services, another tour which was very exciting, just to understand how when airlines return the engine for servicing, just the whole process was really, really fascinating and insightful. And yeah, this is just the beginning. So yeah, I'm just getting started. So by the end of my internship, I'm sure, yeah, there'll be even more exciting things that I would have done by then.
That's absolutely brilliant. I mean, you've packed in quite a lot just from, being on your internship in 3 months. Is there anything that surprised you about your internship?
Yeah, I would say what has surprised me quite a lot so far is just the ability to really sell yourself and to put yourself out there. I thought I would be if I was in it, like when I'm in meetings, I thought I would be one of the individuals that would just be sitting in the corner and I wouldn't have to say anything, or and no one would respect my voice. But I've been in quite a lot of situations now where I've had to even lead meetings or be in meetings with higher ups and seniors, and they've all respected my voice and respected my opinions. So that's something that has actually surprised me quite a lot, and I've really appreciated at Rolls-Royce, because I thought that as an intern I wouldn't really be taken seriously, but they've really appreciated my my input so far.
Brilliant. No, thank you so much, Marvin. I'm really pleased that you're enjoying the internship as well. And I look forward to hearing what else you're going to be doing for the rest of the year. We'll probably need to do another webinar later on in the year, just so we can hear about all the other amazing things that you've done as well. So thank you so much. Yeah. So that brings us in really nicely. I mean, hopefully you find that really insightful, hearing from our graduates and interns about our opportunities that are available at Rolls-Royce. I'm pleased to say that our engineering technology, graduate, year-long and summer internship opportunities are opening up on Monday. So it's a really great time to be looking on our website, to seeing about all our opportunities, and deciding whether actually you want to come on this journey with us as well. Come and join us either as a summer or a year long or a graduate as well. And the beauty of actually coming on our programs, as you've heard from our amazing panel, is actually that all those opportunities are there for you. And it is all about that any opportunities that you've got, you can really just really grasp those and really take it to the next level. So that is fantastic that we've been hearing that from the panel today. I mean, Sarah, I mean, you touched on about that actually it's not just about your graduate programme and it is also about that extra support that you get, but around that networking that we've got as well, isn't it? So
Yeah.
You're part of some of the employee networks, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. Are part of actually lots of them, like I've mentioned earlier, but I think a lot of it is because, well, I've done a lot of these work before university anyways. Again, just reaching out to university students to feel at home whilst being away from family. And I'm also like implementing the same thing here at Rolls-Royce, but from a professional context. Again, with the early careers panel, for example, reaching out to the not just the grads and apprentices and interns in Rolls-Royce, but also obviously building that bridge for graduates who have just graduated from university, joining Rolls-Royce, really providing them those opportunities and getting involved with universities and obviously building that engagement has been quite phenomenal. I'm really happy to have got involved in those mini gigs where I kind of supported with that.
Yeah.
And again, with the French language cafe, French has always been something that I've always loved, obviously learning, and obviously I speak it. And it's great to also implement it again here at Rolls-Royce. It's like, it's a skill which has been following me all the way throughout my life right now.
Yeah,
now
no,
it's like
absolutely. Yeah, it sounds very interesting. I think I might have to come along to that.
Yeah.
So it's great that you've got all those opportunities, really, isn't it? And so it's about bringing a graduate program to life, really, isn't it? So
yes,
yeah,
definitely. There's that a sense of belonging as well, because there's different communities within Rolls-Royce, and you'll always find yourself at Rolls-Royce, which I really love about it. And it's great to also support those communities and making sure that they do have a voice, and they do have a voice within Rolls-Royce, and again, advancing those strategies, the diversity and inclusion in Rolls-Royce is really, really great.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. And Ellie, I think you've took part in some of the social activities that that's been organised.
Yeah, so the AGA as well. So that's the Apprentice and Grad Association. They quite regularly organise different social events as well. So a lot of the stuff they do is to raise money towards charities and things like that. And one of the biggest ones that they do is the summer ball. So the year that I went, it was sort of casino themed. So it was like black tie and everyone dressed up really nice.
Oh, wow.
And it's just really nice to get that sort of outside of work relationship with people, because I know, like, for me, we're quite a close-knit group on the grad scheme, because there's only 8 in GBS, which is my business area. So now we're all coming off scheme. We've already said, at Christmas we're all going to get together and things like that. And whilst there are a lot of these, these networks and things, do your own socializing as well. Like, we do meet up with the engineers and things like that, and reach out to people in the other business areas, because they can teach you a lot, and you never know what doors it's going to open as well. But yeah, the AGA, great. There was a social event not long ago at the Orange Tree. I think they've got one coming up as well, which is a pub in Derby. So they're constantly doing things, and not everything revolves around going out and things like that.
No, that's great, Ellie. Thank you so much. And Emily, all that networking that you're able to do within the business, I think to support your graduate program is quite important.
Yeah, I mean, since I've started the grad scheme, I've built my mentorship network quite well. So you get, obviously, as been mentioned before, a career coach anyway, but for me is quite like a sounding board. So when you have both technical and I guess personal problems, you can have that other perspective of how could you address this, and it's quite nice to be able to like delve into someone else's experience. And then along the way, you do meet all these managers and senior leaders who come up through different avenues, and their perspectives also give you a reassurance that your path is individual to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah. And Marvin, I mean, you've had to relocate then from your university for your year-long internship. How did you find that? Is it a positive experience for you?
Yeah, it's been a positive experience. I think just because obviously there's Derby University accommodation as well, that's available for interns from summer or summer and year-long interns as well. So just working with the early careers team and liaising with them has been really useful.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I think we've been getting quite a lot of questions coming in, Beth.
Yes, we have. Thank you so much for everyone for submitting your questions. It's really encouraging to hear so many people are from all sorts of different countries. We've had loads of questions about international students. Can they apply? So maybe I'll start by directing them towards you, Stella, actually,
yes,
for the first question.
Yeah.
Can you paint a little bit of a picture for somebody that doesn't currently live in the UK? Can they apply for any of these opportunities? What is needed and how does it work with like sponsorship? People are asking about visas and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think what we look at things on a case-by-case basis. So actually, when you look at doing that application form, we can then look at what it is that we need to do to be able to support you if you were then successful through our application process. So you do need that right to work in the UK. And if you are studying in the university as an international student, you're on that student visa. So what we would then look at is then for you to then be applying for that graduate visa. So you could then continue with your graduate journey. And then hopefully then you would then be applying for your skilled worker visa. But you know, we'll look at everything to make sure that everything is in place for you. So the first thing to do is to go onto our website. There's lots of information on there about what it is that you need to be able to get onto our graduate and internship opportunities. And also there's an email address on there. So if there's anything that you're not sure on, you can actually come and contact the recruitment team and we can then give you some further advice.
Great, that's really helpful, Stella. And if anyone has any further questions on those things, as she said, you can go on our careers website. You can find out all sorts of different things there. There's an FAQ section as well, which is super helpful if you're like, I've got this specific question. So definitely head there afterwards. A second question we have for Emily, actually. So I hope, Emily, this is okay that I direct this at you. Somebody would love to know, how did your degree prepare you for your graduate position that you're now in?
So I'm gonna take that as like split into two answers. So there's like a technical side and like a person side. So the technical bit is that physics gives you a lot of why are things the way they are, and that interface between physics and engineering is okay. This is why, but how can we use that into like a physical system, or how can you change variables to affect like performance or what we want out of the product. So it's almost like building on what you learn in physics and then taking it to it, and what does this mean in a practical sense? So I've really enjoyed using my physics knowledge in engineering. And then from a personal perspective, one of the things I'd learned during physics was how to ask questions to get the answers that you need to either move forward with a project or to learn more about other people or their projects or their backgrounds. So that's just another bit. Just that curious mindset is something that I feel like I've developed in physics and keep moving forward.
And I think that's really important as well, Emily, isn't it? Because it's like, I think sometimes there's that idea that you need to be having that engineering degree to be able to come on to our engineering technology programs, but that's not the case at all, is it?
No, absolutely. I mean, for graduates in my intake of physics and obviously engineering, chemical engineering, electronics, etc., then it's all the value is in the different perspectives, because the way I might approach a problem is different to how another graduate will approach a problem. But it's that mingling of cross disciplines, which is really beneficial both for your own development and then for whatever project you're working on. So yeah,
that's a really great answer. Thanks, Emily. I'll open this one up maybe to our other grads and stuff who have shared with us today. But what does career progression look like after having done one of these grad schemes, one of these graduate programs? Maybe someone can pitch in on that.
I guess I can talk a little bit about offboarding and sort of what that looks like in our area, because I know it is different in our area than it is for the engineers. So within business, and like I'd just like to highlight, this is the first year we've done this, so this might change as other people start to join in the company. So ours was more of a matchmaking process. So we spoke with, you'll have like a local manager. So our area is global business services, and then you've got your business and enterprise, civil graduates, and so on. So we speak with our local graduate manager, and we say the area that we're interested in. So obviously mine was HR, mine was a bit more straightforward because I sort of had a bit more of a direction with where I wanted to go, whereas some people were a bit more open-minded still. And then they'll work to find vacancies sort of around the business. They want to keep you where they've seen you grow. So they wanted to keep us in GBS. Obviously, it's not always realistic, especially at the minute, because we've just been through quite a big transformation. So it's sort of what roles, are around the business and where the business needs us. I got, I'm really happy with my role, the strategic HR role. It sort of encompasses everything that I wanted to do. So I then met with that manager and it sort of had a conversation with her, almost like a really informal interview. And she was like, yep, you're a good fit. And then we're just going through the ropes of that now. The other way that we could have applied, if the roles weren't maybe matching up to what we wanted to do, was to use Workday, which is where you apply externally and internally. And you can have a look through there, sort of what jobs are coming up. And in that instance, other people would be applying for those roles, but you can sort of work with them if it's more of a development role. So don't think coming off scheme that the support stops. It doesn't. Like you'll still get fully supported. And when you go to your manager in the future, they'll know that, you're fresh off the scheme. You've maybe not done specifically that role before, and they will continue to develop you. So you'll go through the grades. You might progress to being a manager level. It's not stagnant. It doesn't stop once you're finished. The support just looks a bit different. So yeah, that's been my experience. But like I say, don't take that as gospel because it might end up changing by the time you guys get there.
That's great. Thank you so much for that.
That's really helpful. And then finally, just before we wrap up, it'd be great to talk a little bit about the application process. Loads of you want to know, how do I apply? It sounds amazing. Let me in. So maybe Stella and I can sort of tag team, just sort of paint a little bit of a picture for you. Some of you might already know this, but applications for graduate programs, summer internships and year-long internships or placements open on Monday, upcoming Monday. So that's the 14th of October. And they're open for just over a month. So they'll close towards the end of November. And the main thing to know is that it might be a bit unusual, but we've actually gotten rid of CVs completely from our application process. So if you come off this call and you're like, I need to go and I want to go tweak my CV so I have the best shot, we unfortunately are not taking them anymore.
And no covering letters either.
No covering letters either, which maybe you'll feel disheartened. Work really hard on it. But I think it really levels the playing field, doesn't it, for us in terms of if you're a first year student, you're like, I want to do a summer internship, in between my first year and my second year, which you can do. I feel like I don't have enough experience. Maybe that'll speak against me. Or instead, all we want to hear is about your passion, your motivation, and how you can bring skills and experience from other things that you have done before into a position at Rolls-Royce. So we want to have that passion and that motivation come through in your answers. And so a little bit of an overview of that application process. The first stage, rather than a CV, is going to be about your answer to 3 key questions. So tell us a bit more about you, your skills, your experience, the kind of thing that lights you up. Talk a little bit about Rolls-Royce. Why do you want to work here? Do some research. Don't say cars.
Yeah, research is so important. It really is, because that really shows that your passion, your motivation, and that you're really keen about getting that internship or graduate program at Rolls-Royce. So take your time in actually really doing that research about what our future projects are doing and where you see yourself fitting into those projects as well, because we really want to see how we can actually then grow on the program. So it's really all around that research, about showing your skills, so showing what it is that you're passionate about, what you're motivated about, and that's what we want to be seeing, isn't it, Beth?
Yeah, definitely. And our advice there, like if you're at uni, you can get a careers advisor to look over your answers.
Yeah.
You can ask a tutor, you can ask people for help. Don't just sort of bash out your answers and send it on Monday the 14th. Like you can read, you can prepare, you can ask for help.
And you've only got 300 words each question, so really make every word count. You know, don't waffle, try and be concise. And something that we think, you know, we recommend really is using that STAR method. So really trying to model your answer so that you're getting all that information in. And so it's around, you know, setting the scene. So the S is setting the scene, and then like around the task, what the action is and what is the result and reflection. So it really just helps you to model your answer for what we're asking you. And what we've actually brought in this year is, so on the frequently asked questions, the 3 questions will be on there, so you can actually look at those questions before you start filling in your application form. And something else that we're doing new for this year is, if you then get through to our assessment centre, we are actually going to be sharing the questions with you that we're going to be asking to you around that motivational behavioural interview. But before we get to that stage, you've done your 3 questions, your online application form. So we get to find out about your education and your personal details as well. At that stage, we're just checking to make sure you're eligible, and we'll send you a link to do some online assessments. And Marvin, I'm sure you can remember those online assessments. And these are really just to get to find out about you. And please don't try and answer them thinking, what do Rolls-Royce want me to answer here? It's about really, we want to get the authentic you. So it's around that. You'll ask be some situational judgment questions, a logical reasoning, and psychological assessment as well. And so hopefully when you get that email to say congratulations, you're through to the next stage. That's then when we look at those 3 questions, and then we make a decision whether you're going to come along to an online half-a-day assessment, where we really get to find out about you, and also you get to find out about us, because it is that 2-way process, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're interviewing you and you're also interviewing us. You can ask questions. What is it like working at Rolls-Royce? Ask about the culture, ask about how you fit into that. So it's for you guys as much as it is for us. But yeah, that's a whistle-stop tour in the application process, but we would love for you to apply. So make sure you put the date in your diary, don't miss out. And yeah, so they open on Monday. So.
And on the website, there's lots of little videos as well talking about the application process, and also some graduates and interns talking about their programs as well. So please go and look at the website, go and have a look at all the information's there, and we look forward to getting your applications.
Absolutely.
So yeah, well, thank you so much, panel. I think that's been a really great session, and really lifted the lid, hopefully, on that graduate life. So thank you very much. Over to you, Fern.
Amazing. Thank you so much again. I just wanted to jump back on and say a final huge thank you to everyone who has attended today, as well as a massive thank you as well to all of our Rolls-Royce reps for taking the time out and coming and giving a really in-depth, detailed background about who they are and Rolls-Royce as well. If you are interested in watching this again, just to make sure that you did get everything that Stella and Beth and everyone did mention, we will be uploading this onto our Target Jobs website, so make sure that you keep an eye out for that tomorrow. But that was all from me, so I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you again to everyone for attending.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.